All right, let's dive into something that honestly is a huge level up for any developer. We're talking about integration testing in .NET. If you're looking to ship code with that next level of confidence, well, you are in exactly the right place.
So let me ask you something, and I bet you've been here before. You've done everything right? Your unit tests are all green, the coverage looks amazing, and yet somehow a bug, a really nasty one, slips through to production. How does that even happen? It's super frustrating, and it happens all the time.
Well, the answer really comes down to this simple idea: the difference between testing the parts and testing the whole. Think of it like building a car. Your unit tests are absolutely brilliant for checking the individual pieces. Does the engine start? Yep. Do the brakes engage? For sure. But integration tests? That's when you put it all together, the whole car, and actually take it for a drive on a real road to see if it works as, a car.
And this idea, this gap, brings us right to our first big point, what we call the unit test blind spot. Unit tests are the bedrock. They're essential. But because they're designed to check things in isolation, they just can't see everything.
Yeah, look at this list. These are the kinds of things that bite you in the real world. A unit test will tell you your logic is sound, but it's not going to catch a typo in a connection string or a misconfigured API route. It won't know if your JSON is going to blow up with real data or if two pieces of your application's middleware are fighting with each other. These are the problems that live in the seams, in the connections between the parts.
So how do we fix this? How do we see what's really going on in those blind spots? We need to see the full picture. And that's exactly what integration testing gives us. It's kind of like having X-ray vision for your entire system.
At its heart, the definition is actually pretty simple. Integration testing is all about making sure that all the different pieces of your app, the controllers, the services, the database access, all of it can actually work together correctly as a single functioning group. It's about testing the teamwork. And in the world of .NET, we have this incredible tool to help us. Our secret weapon, really. It's called the WebApplicationFactory. This thing is just a brilliant piece of engineering that lets you boot up your entire application from start to finish, completely in memory, right inside your test project. Okay, so what's the big deal? Why is this a game changer? Well, because you are running your actual application code with all its real startup logic and middleware. There's no need to deploy it anywhere. You can fire off real HTTP calls, gets, posts, whatever, directly at it and check the real-world behavior. It gives you this incredible sense of confidence. Okay, let's roll up our sleeves and get practical. We've got our in-memory server, which is awesome, but to make sure our tests are fast, totally reliable, and don't step on each other's toes, we need a smart strategy. And that strategy begins with the biggest, trickiest dependency we all have. And that leads us to the big one, right? The elephant in the room. What do we do about the database? I mean, we absolutely cannot have our automated tests hitting a live production database or even a shared dev one. It'd be slow, flaky, and honestly, just plain dangerous. So what's the move?
And the solution is it's so elegant. Let's just walk through it real quick. So your test kicks off. The Web Application Factory starts booting up your app. But, and this is the magic part, it lets us jump in and tweak the configuration. That's when we swap out the real database connection for a temporary in-memory one. The result? Your test runs against its own personal, squeaky clean database. It's fast and it's completely isolated. And the payoff for doing this? Oh, it's huge. Your tests are lightning fast because there's no network lag. They're perfectly isolated, so one test can't mess up the data for the next one. And you have zero external dependencies. Your test can run on your machine, on a build server, anywhere, with no fuss. Okay, so we've got our setup down. It's fast, it's isolated. Now for the fun part. What do we actually test with this thing? We're moving way beyond checking a single function. We're talking about validating a complete user journey from beginning to end. Right, so here's the key. An integration test validates the entire chain. Let's say you're testing a login API. You're not just testing one method, you're testing the whole flow. A request comes in, it goes through your authentication, it hits your business logic, it talks to the in-memory database, and it generates the correct response. You're testing the system as a whole. All right, let's pull all this together and talk about the bigger picture here. This isn't just about writing a new type of test. Adopting integration testing is really about adopting a new mindset. It's about thinking like a senior engineer who builds systems that are truly resilient.
So what are the pro tips, the rules of the road? First, focus these bigger tests on your most important APIs and user flows. Second, always, and I mean always, use a fresh test database to keep things isolated. Third, remember, these tests are a bit slower than unit tests, so don't go crazy. Be strategic. And finally, the goal is a healthy mix. Fast unit tests for the little things and powerful integration tests for the big picture.
And hey, just as important as what to do is what not to do. Trust me, you want to avoid these common traps. Using a real database is a recipe for disaster. It leads to slow, flaky tests and corrupted data. Writing too many integration tests will grind your build pipeline to a halt. Not cleaning up your test data causes weird failures that are impossible to debug. And of course, only testing the happy path means your app is brittle and not ready for the real world.
So look, if you need that perfect one-sentence summary for your boss, for your team, or even for a job interview, here it is. This is the gold. Integration testing ensures all components of an application work together correctly in real-world scenarios. That's it. It's short, it's accurate, and it says everything. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about when you go back to your own projects. Take a hard look at your test suite and ask yourself, are my tests just here to check off lines of code and hit a coverage number? Or are they actually validating that my application behaves the way my users need it to? The answer to that question will tell you everything.